Hello all fans and historians. Welcome to the Cambodia Past and Present channel once again. Today, the admin will bring up the biography of Mr. Saloth Sar PolPot in detail for all the fans and viewers, up to his last life. Let's not waste any more time and get to his biography. Revolution. In 1947, Saloth Sar graduated from Kampong Secondary School and wanted to continue his studies at Saloth High School, but the school required students to take an entrance exam to study there. Because Saloth Sar failed the exam, Saloth Sar went to a technical school in Tulkort district, now separated into Rusikio district of Phnom Penh, majoring in blacksmithing in 1948. Saloth Sar then took the exam to enter Saloth High School with an average score, meaning he failed for the second time. During his studies, Saloth Sar made a close friend named Ing Suri. According to Kang Van Sak, a senior official of the Democrat Party, Saloth Sar and Ing Suri actively supported the Democrat Party during the 1949 national elections. At that time, the Democrat Party, led by Prince Sisowath Yuthavong, won a landslide victory, winning 60 out of 75 seats in the National Assembly. In 1950, Saloth Sar received a scholarship to study electronics in France. The question is, why did Saloth Sar, who was not a very good student with high grades, receive a scholarship to study in France? This may be due to two main reasons. First, at that time, the Ministry of Education was under the control of the Democratic Party, which had won the 1949 election, and perhaps because Saloth Sar had helped campaign for the Democratic Party, the Minister of Education gave Saloth Sar a scholarship to study in France. Second, Saloth Sar probably knew and could speak French, so the Minister of Education gave Saloth Sar a scholarship to study electronics in France. Acceptance of communist ideas. Saloth Sar, who was studying in France, was an intern in Yugoslavia. He was fascinated by an article by the founder of communism, Joseph Stalin, the leader of the communist regime in the Soviet Union. The article described several aspects of communist policies, including the creation of a one-party state, collective industrialization, which meant the transformation of private family production into collective industrial production, socialism, which meant the elimination of private property, collectivization of agriculture, which meant the people coming together to farm or form a single agricultural union. The elimination of class conflict, which meant there would be no rich or poor, living in a society with equal classes. Fascinated by Stalin's communist writings, Saloth Sar studied in France from 1950 to 1953. He decided to return to Cambodia, even though he had 2 years left to finish his studies in France. Therefore, Saloth Sar did not graduate to become a scholar in France. Political initiatives. Communism began to spread throughout the world through the anti-colonial movement that began after the end of World War II. In Indochina, which was under French colonial rule, there was also a communist movement, the Indochinese Communist Party founded by Ho Chi Minh. In the 1930s, this party brought together communist movements from Cambodia, Laos, and Vietnam. In Cambodia, the Indochina branch of the Communist Party was founded in 1940 by Father Minh, also known as Sun Ngoc Minh. The Communist Party was a merger of Sun Ngoc Then and Ho Chi Minh. This was done in order to capitalize on Sun Ngoc Then's popularity as the leader of a prominent anti-French movement, the Khmer movement. However, Sun Ngoc Then was not a communist. In 1951, Sun Ngoc Min founded an armed movement called the Khmer Sarak Association. This has led to confusion, as it is not known who is a Khmer communist and who is not a Khmer communist. In the same year, Vietnam decided to split the Indochina Communist Party into its own communist parties. The Khmer Communist Party also decided to form its own communist party. It was called the Kampuchea People's Revolutionary Party. The party was led by a provisional central committee with Sun Ngoc Min as president, Tu Sammath as vice president, and Siv Heng as general secretary. However, from 1951 to 1960, the Khmer Communist Party did not hold an official party congress. This led to the Kampuchea People's Revolutionary Party, which was not yet independent, being completely separated from the Indochina Communist Party. In September 1960, 9 years after the Kampuchea People's Revolutionary Party split from the Indochina Communist Party, the Kampuchea People's Revolutionary Party secretly organized a congress with the aim of officially establishing its own Communist Party of Cambodia. However, the party changed its name to the Cambodian Workers' Party. The new party had Mr. Tu Sammath as party secretary, Mr. Nguyen Chi as deputy party secretary, and Saloth Sar as the third-ranking leader in the party. Anding Suri, a friend of Saloth Sar, was also elected to be a member of the new party's central committee. For the Khmer Rouge, led by PolPot, the September 1960 Congress was the true beginning of their communist movement. However, after the Khmer Rouge were arrested and tried by the Khmer Rouge Tribunal, established by the government and the United Nations on June 6, 2003, the senior leadership of the Khmer Rouge often refused to acknowledge that they had originated from the Kampuchean People's Revolutionary Party. The Khmer Rouge who refused this in order to separate their revolution from the Indochina Communist Party so that they would not be associated with North Vietnam. Which means that even if they die, they can still fake or distort the truth that they are true patriots, to wash away their sins that killed millions of their own people. On the contrary, the Kampuchean People's Party, which is currently the ruling party in Cambodia, always holds the Kampuchean People's Revolutionary Party as its origin, and sets June 28, 1951 as the birthday of the party until now. Which means that Pol Pot's Kampuchean Communist Party and the current Kampuchean People's Party, which emerged from the same Indochina Communist Party, but the two parties split into two different parties with separate party structures. But some politicians continue to paint the two parties as one party, which is completely contrary to historical truth. After Mr. Tu Sammath disappeared in 1963, Saloth Sar also rose to the position of Secretary of the Cambodian Workers' Party, bypassing Nguyen Chi, who was Deputy Secretary of the party during the late 1964-1965 period. Saloth Sar visited Hanoi in North Vietnam and continued to visit Beijing in China. After Saloth Sar received legal assistance and support from North Vietnam and China, Saloth Sar also announced the change of name of the Cambodian Workers' Party to the Communist Party of Kampuchea, which was announced in September 1966. Expansion of communist influence. After Pol Pot received support from the Soviet Union, China, and North Vietnam, on January 17, 1968, the Khmer Rouge launched an attack to capture Siem Reap from the Cambodian government led by Prince Norodom Sihanouk. The Khmer Rouge had used the location of Cambodia's important temples as a base for their troops. This meant that if Prince Sihanouk wanted to destroy the Khmer Rouge army by bombing, he would have to bomb his own temples. and it was difficult for him to fight against Pol Pot's guerrillas. They used the strategy of using ancient temples as an enemy, such as Angkor Wat and many other temples. In early 1969, seeing that hundreds of thousands of North Vietnamese troops had taken refuge in northern Cambodia, the United States, under President Richard Nixon, ordered the bombing of Cambodia by B-52 bombers in March 1969. The bombs did not affect the North Vietnamese troops much because they had dug tunnels 10 to 20 meters deep to hide from the bombs. On the other hand, the Cambodian people, who had no one to help them, dug tunnels to escape the bombs. All these bombs killed about 50,000 Cambodians during the bombing. As a result, the people of northeastern Cambodia became hostile to the United States and joined Pol Pot's army. More and more, Pol Pot's army grew rapidly. Prince Norodom Sihanouk, seeing that China would not give up its hand in waging war against the United States if he declared to join the United States, then China would help Pol Pot declare an independent northern state immediately, which meant that Cambodia would be divided into two, just like the Korean peninsula, with South Korea and North Korea as it is today. So Pol Pot, who occupied Battambang, Siem Reap, Kampong Thom, Mondulkiri, Ratanakiri, Krati, Stung Treng, Preovihir, and declared it as northern Cambodia, would definitely do so. And then the whole of Cambodia would lose a lot in the war. Therefore, King Norodom Sihanouk only planned for General Lin Nol to stage a coup to overthrow him, to vote him out of power in parliament. Only then could Cambodia openly rely on the United States to continue fighting the communists. Unplanned victory. The unplanned victory of the Khmer Rouge was when the United States announced its withdrawal from the Indochina Peninsula, which was announced in the Paris Treaty of January 27, 1973. The U.S. Congress required all U.S. troops to be withdrawn from the Indochina Peninsula. At that time, the Khmer Republic regime of General Lin Nol lost its major support, the United States. Meanwhile, King Norodom Sihanouk saw that sooner or later the Khmer Republic regime would be overthrown by the Khmer Rouge Army, with China, the Soviet Union, and North Vietnam behind it. And of course, Pol Pot did not care about the king, or they could even dissolve the royal family. So in May 1973, King Norodom Sihanouk left Paris for Beijing to negotiate with the Chinese leadership, so that the Chinese side would help him with the Khmer Rouge, so that he could get the position of head of state in his political ideas. If he could still lead the country, of course, Cambodia would have been reunified. After King Norodom Sihanouk concluded negotiations with the Khmer Rouge, he announced on the radio from Beijing that the Cambodian people who loved him should go into the jungle and take up arms to take back power. This announcement was made in September 1974. Later, the Khmer Rouge Army defeated the Khmer Republic regime of General Lin Nol on April 17, 1975, and King Norodom Sihanouk, who held the position of head of state, had no power to command the Khmer Rouge army commanders. That is, he had the position only in name, knowing that the Khmer Rouge considered him to be just a tool for use. Therefore, King Norodom Sihanouk also announced his resignation as head of state in April 1976, member of the Communist Party of Kampuchea. Members of the Communist Party of Kampuchea and their positions in government include Pol Pot Prime Minister, Nguyen Chi Speaker of the National Assembly, Thamok First Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Q Samphan Head of State, Shim Samak Chief of Cabinet. Ingsuri Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Sun Sen Ministry of National Defense. Onvet Ministry of Economy. Honam Ministry of Propaganda. Ingthirith Ministry of Social Affairs. Yunyat Ministry of Culture and Education. Chuan Chon Ministry of Health. Kongchap Ministry of Justice. Chang'an Ministry of Industry. Nansuan Ministry of Agriculture. Kaithuan Ministry of Commerce. Tikfuan Ministry of Public Works. Kongekiv Head of S21 Detention Center. It has been suggested by some ignorant people that Pol Pot was not the one who killed the Khmer people. Those who killed the Khmer people were foreigners, who were embedded in the Khmer Rouge cadres. This is the ignorance of those who think so. During the rule of the Khmer Rouge, Pol Pot created a system of secret surveillance and monitoring of all the activities of his committees at all levels, from the deputy prime minister to the village head, which was monitored by informants. These informants were assigned according to a clear scenario, which was called the Pineapple Eye Organization. And Pol Pot had a list of names and appointed his leaders at all levels according to the arguments of the Khmer people who suffered throughout the country. They were important witnesses who were directly present at this event. They clearly indicated the way Pol Pot led, who systematically killed the Khmer people through pure conspiracy, accusing innocent people of killing the Khmer people in the same way, which means that Pol Pot used the Khmer people to kill the Khmer people just to protect his power. Political message: every Cambodian has always had a sense of patriotism and love for their country, but patriotism also requires a comprehensive consideration. This love of the country is considered in two ways, the first way being fanatical nationalism and the second way being intelligent nationalism. Extreme nationalism means thinking only about oneself, meaning understanding that only oneself loves the country and seeing that others do not love the country like oneself. The pain and past of losing the country also increases as resentment in the heart, regardless of the event of losing the country for what reason or how. Resentment towards other nations without reflection. For example, the leaders of a country have the concept of expanding the territory according to their own policy of ambition. Should the leaders, who are in command of the military, launch an invasion of that country or not? Or should they go and invade the territory of that nation or not? So it depends on the ideology of the leader, and sometimes it has nothing to do with the ideology of the general population of the nation. But extreme nationalists are always attached to territorial hatred towards the people of other nations. They should consider comparing themselves with the leader, rather than harboring hatred towards the people of one nation by criticizing and discriminating against them, which is contrary to the main reason that stems from the ideology of the individual. For example, the Vietnamese king or the leaders of Vietnam had the idea of expanding their territory by raising troops to conquer Cambodian territory. Therefore, it was the idea of the individual leader, not the idea of the people. Of course, no people in the world want to wage war and kill each other. People of all nationalities just want to live in peace. However, living in their own country sometimes has difficulties in terms of livelihood, sometimes psychological difficulties, and living is even more difficult. They decide to take the risk of living in other countries, creating a flow of immigrants or migrants, with the understanding of living together all over the world. This fanatical love of nation creates hatred and enmity between one race and another, which is considered a foolish love of nation, inciting the Khmer people to hate the Vietnamese people, which will lead to war in the future. The Vietnamese and Khmer will kill each other, and both sides will die. The infidels will flee to live in Thailand or the West in peace. The victims are the Khmer people, who have endless wars. Loving the nation intelligently means loving the nation with a comprehensive perspective, which means understanding that we love the nation and that others love the nation as much as we do, but sometimes they do not express their actions or words. For example, another country invades our country. Some help directly by joining the army. Some do not help physically but help with their feelings by helping with money or food. Loving the nation in other ways, such as helping society through humanitarian acts, planting trees, building roads, schools, hospitals, temples, etc., are all concepts of loving the nation, but they have different forms. Not criticizing other ethnic groups without reason, not discriminating against them in society, are all concepts of intelligent patriotism. For example, Vietnamese immigrants who come to live in Cambodia, some find it difficult to live in their own country. Some even find a job to make a living. Some learn Khmer language, learn Khmer dance, take Khmer husbands or wives, become Khmer citizens, and serve in various sectors of Cambodian society. Whether it is selling or serving in government institutions, all of which make Cambodia progress. Some who come to live for many years consider Cambodia their second home. People of all ethnic groups have good and bad people. If they come for no good reason, they will cause chaos in society. Cambodia has laws, and the police and authorities are the ones to resolve them. We should not hold grudges and discriminate against ethnic groups. This will lead to the destruction of the country due to all these foolish thoughts, similar to Pol Pot's foolish thoughts, which can lead to the destruction of Cambodia again and again. June 20th, 1977 is an important historical date for Cambodia. The day when Comrade Hun Sen, the commander of the regiment at the age of 25, along with 4 other loyal comrades, Nuc Thon, Nek Huan, San San, and Via Puin, decided to risk their lives to liberate the nation and the Cambodian people from the genocidal Pol Pot regime, the most brutal regime in Cambodia. Pol Pot's final days after killing Sun Sen's entire family. Forces led by Tam Ngoc sentenced Pol Pot to life in prison. They imprisoned Pol Pot and his family in his own home in An Long Veng district, Adar Mianchi province. Tam Ngoc ordered his forces to plant landmines around Pol Pot's house. Pol Pot would be monitored and not allowed to leave the compound. Pol Pot died in 1998 of a heart attack at the age of 73. How are you all, viewers? What have you learned from Pol Pot? Finally, Cambodia Past and Present Channel, would like to bow my head and say goodbye to you all. See you on the next Cambodian history video. May you all have good luck. Goodbye.